So for me, I have a pretty good discipline for like I don't really have any vices. You know what I mean? Like my phone is probably the biggest one, unfortunately. But sometimes if I'm especially if I mentally have checked out from a meal, as in like I'm at Christmas or whatever, I will just eat until I do not feel good. And I think I used to do it more in the past. And so I wonder, as you call it, emotional eating, is it also, ironically, is it also emotionally disconnected eating?
Yes, I think that's a really important point. People don't just eat more food than they need for emotional reasons, although that's a big factor for some people. We often eat mindlessly. So as you said, disconnected, we're not paying attention. We've lost track of the sensations of satiety. And when we're not aware, when we're not focused, we forget that the results of eating that way are going to leave us feeling overly full and uncomfortable afterward.
Gotcha. Yeah, because the way I was looking at it is that like if you're clearly overeating because you're anxious or because you're nervous or shame or whatever these things, these are the emotions that are driving that behavior. But it's not so it obviously it is emotional eating, but it's not like we're recognizing it because I think we end up becoming so disconnected from our emotions. Maybe we're ignoring this emotion and that emotion, and then it's just
Mhm.
driving the bus straight towards a Burger King or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, so you're touching on, I think, some really important points of this. And again, another reason that diets are so ineffective. Diets focus on what you're eating and how much you're eating. They almost completely ignore why you're eating in the first place, how you're eating your food, and then what you're doing with the energy besides exercise. And
Right.
so, those are all the important points that we want to look at when we're helping somebody heal their relationship with food. So, to back up a little bit, emotional eating is normal. It is part of eating to sometimes eat for comfort. We connect with food. We get pleasure from eating. We sometimes disconnect by eating. And so that's part of the normal experience. Where it becomes a problem for somebody is when they're using food to stuff down or ignore their emotions or numb themselves from their emotions, and then they're much more likely to be able to eat a lot of food without recognizing how full they're feeling until it's too late.
Hmm.
But the other issue, of course, with this is that we live in an abundant food environment. We live in an environment where we are constantly exposed to the opportunity to eat. We don't have to work very hard to get food anymore. And so it becomes a very easy way to get pleasure or distraction or even deal with boredom. And so I think
Hmm.
oftentimes we forget that it's not really just these deep, dark emotions that can cause eating, but it's sometimes just habitual reaching for food because it's there.